Okay, class. Today we'll again discuss about the GW basic. In last class, we have discussed that how to install the software. We actually use PC basic instead of directly use of GW basic. Why? Because I already informed you about that. The GW basic is a very previous version. It was actually built in 1982 and 83. The last version which was released by the GW Basic. It was of 1983. So if you use any new Windows after Windows XP, I mean Windows like Windows Vista or Windows 7 or 8.0 or 8.1 or Windows 10, then you are not able to use directly GW Basic. And to use that GW Basic, you must have to install some more software, and the still procedure uh, will be very complex. So that's why we use PC Basic. This software is a new software. You can see here that it's built from 2013 to 2015. So you can easily use this software instead of directly use of GW Basic. So that will also help you a lot, especially it will directly open. So now we will discuss about the GW Basic. In last class, we write some codes and make some uh, programs. Today we will discuss furthermore. In last class, we also discussed about the two methodologies of the codes. One was direct and the second was indirect. For example, if I write here that print, sorry, in a print 10 plus 20. If I press enter, then it will gives me answer directly. 10 plus 20, that is 30, right? That is direct method. But if I write any number, line number, and then we'll write any code like same, for example, now I'm using 2 plus 3 and press enter, then there is no its answer. Why? Because now answer will become after the running of this program. So how we can do that? We can do after pressing run or after press F2 button. So if I write run and then press enter, then it will be 5. Okay. So these are the two methods, right? Direct and indirect method. Direct method में क्या होता है? When you press enter after putting your commands, that will give you its answer instantly, and that will only execute a single line at a time. But by the use of indirect method, you can put a lot of lines, and then you can easily manipulate its running position. When we actually make a program, then program means more than one lines, right? Because in a program you will actually write steps. So for the steps you will actually use more than one lines, right? Steps, जो भी आपका task होगा, for that you must have to follow some steps. In last class I have given you example of robots. If we discuss again that, तो उसमें हमने थ्री बोल्ड जो चीज़ें थी उनको डिस्कस किया था, एंड दैट वाज व्हाट, फॉर एग्जांपल वी वांट टू बी मेक अ रोबोट which मूव फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर, ठीक है? और जो वो places हैं, there is a distance between these two places of 3 meter, right? So if a robot will go from one place to another which distance is 3 meter, then what commands you will give it? For example, the first command will be uh, run or walk 3 meter. Then the robot move from one place to another. And now if we want to return it back, then what we'll do? Of course, we have to be move its face first. And for that, we have discussed that we will use a degrees, right? So we'll give it a command move 180 degree. I'm writing here like run. Look at here. For example, I use a notepad for that. Uh, Wait, I'm gonna share my new screen to all of you. For example, in notepad, I write run 3 meter. That is my first command, right? I mention it. Second will be turn on 180 degree, right? And the third will be run 3 meter again. So it will return back on its first position, right? That is what actually we discussed in a detail in the last class. So this is what actually we have written a 3 lines. These are the steps. These are the sequence which will be followed by the program. After that, the robot or program is capable of doing something, right? So same scenario for the GW basic is, if you want to be make any program, you have to write its steps. Okay, I'm gonna write a program. For that, I will write first of all new. Always remember, whenever you want to write any new program, you have to use a new keyword. That will helps you to write a new program. What is the difference between new and without new? Look at here. For example, if I press F1, which is used for the list, and press enter, look at here. What is this? 10 print 2 plus 3. That is the line of code which I have written here previously, जो कि आप बेटा इनडायरेक्टली मेथड के जरिए लिखते हैं. That will actually save in your memory temporarily, right? So if you write again here any new program without using new keyword, that will be overwrite on this. So we don't want that. We want to use our code in a new position. So what we will use, we will use new keyword, new, and then press enter. Now if for example I've checked list and then enter, there is no any code now, right? So that is why always remember that whenever you write a new program, then you must have to use a new keyword. Okay, there is a question on my chat box from Tahira. Sir, I don't have this install in my PC. How to install this? Tara Bita, I have previously provided you a link for this. By the help of that link, you can actually download this software. But no problem, I will again share you on a group the link on your WhatsApp group. Then you can easily download it again. Okay, after class, I will share that. Okay, there is another question from Uruj Hanif. अगर new नहीं लिखें CLS कर दें. Beta, if you will not write a new, then what the problem will be, I have informed you that when you check list before new, what actually happened कि उसमें एक जो previous हमने program लिखा था, that was stored in your memory. So if you will not write your new keyword and start writing a new program, what happened? The problem will remain same, that के वो जो previous program था, it will overwrite on that. ठीक है? So there will be a problem. तो हम चूंकि एक नया प्रोग्राम लिखना चाह रहे हैं, then we must have to write a new keyword, and that will help us to write a new program. So I have written new. CLS after that, right? Now I'm using a new code. मैं एक program लिखने जा रहा हूँ. What actually that program will do, I just want that the computer will ask me a two different number. When I provided these two numbers, that will make a sum up of these values and give me the answer, right? So how it will be possible? Look at here. I will write uh, 10 CLS. Just a minute, beta again. Okay, so I write here 10 CLS, then 20, input, enter first number, then I use here N1. First I write this whole code and then I will explain you each line. Okay, 30, input, enter second number, N2, 40, uh, S, I just use S, N1 plus N2. On the 50, I use print. The sum is S. Okay, this is my code. If I run this program, now look at what happened. It will ask me the first number, enter first number. This question mark means that program is asking you something, right? So if I provide this a number like 4, press enter, then it will ask me the second number. Now I will provide it a second number. For example, I provided 6. Now I am gonna press enter. Now look at what happened. The sum is 10. Okay, it will directly give me the answer. Okay, now again look at the code. First line is 10 CLS. So first of all, 10 is a smallest number here. Look at, I have given a line number as a 10, 20, 30, 14, 50. So the smallest one is a 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, and then 50. So it will process it according to the sequence, right? As a ascending order sequence. So 10 CLS will be run firstly. So what that CLS will actually do, it will clear the screen whenever we run our program. First of all, it will clear our screen. Second line is input, enter first number. Look at here. This word enter first number is between of these inverted commas, and after that I have used this semicolon that is just beside of L key. So after that I have used N1. What is this? गौर से इसको समझिएगा बेटा. That input command will actually helps you to ask something. ठीक है? For example, you are using a input devices. Why we use input devices? To give something or give data to your computer. The scenario is same for the programming. This input command will actually helps to give you some data to the computer. In another word, we can also say that if you want that your program will ask something, and when you give after that asking, that data will enter into the computer. So for this you will use this input command, and these inverted commas will help you to proceed your question, that what actually you are asking about. So I have written here that enter first number. So these keys will shown as it is on your screen. Look at here that यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ आपको दिख रहा है. It is same as this word, enter first number, and after that this is question mark. After that semicolon and then n1. Now this is very important beta. What is n1? N1 is here a variable. What is variable? Beta, variable is a temporary memory in your computer in which the data which you will enter after asking your program will be stored. But remember, it will store temporarily. Whenever you will finish your program or close your program, it will lost its data, right? तो होता क्या है बेटा? I have written here input enter first number and then n1. So input will ask you something, and this enter first number, which is between of these codes, that will be written same as on your screen. That will help the user or client to understand what actually program is asking about. And whenever the user or client will enter any data, that data will store into this n1, which is a variable. Variable is just like a bucket. ठीक है, जैसे पानी की बकेट होती है ना बेटा, बाल्टी, बिल्कुल समझ लें उसी की तरह होती है. What actually it will do, it will store something. ठीक है, it will store any data, but remember this data will be temporarily. Whenever you will enter another data into the same variable, then the previous data will be erased from it. So next line is 30, and that is again same, and input, that will again ask something, and then inverted commas having the word enter second number. Then this keys will again remain same on your screen. Then there is n2, which is again a variable. N2 is another variable. When you enter second number, it will store in this n2 variable. Now on line number 40, I have written s is equal to n1 plus n2. Now what is this? S is again another new variable. Why I'm using it? I'm actually doing something here. That is what, after adding of these two values, I mean n1 and n2, we use another new variable to store the sum of these two values. So when these two values n1 and n2, which is variable name, so when we add these two values, then we store its answer into the new variable which is s. तो अब जो n1 और n2 में आपने वैल्यू रखी होगी, after addition of these two values, the new answer will actually stored into this s variable. Okay, clear? Now on line number 50, I have written print, in inverted commas there is word, the sum is, and after inverted commas I have written s. Always remember beta, whenever we use any variable, it should be without inverted commas, then it will work. If we use inverted commas and between the inverted commas we write any variable name, that this is not considered as a variable. it will consider as a characters, so it will shown on your screen as it is, right? So I have right here in between the inverted commas the sum is. So look at here, these words are same here, the sum is. And after this I have written s, which means a variable name. ठीक है, और इस वेरिएबल में होगा क्या, the sum of these two values n1 and n2. और n1 में फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने क्या एंटर किया था 4, and for n2 I have written 6. So the sum of these two values is 10, which is goes into the s variable. So after the line number 50, it is written here print, not input, it's a print. तो print क्या करेगा, आपके रिजल्ट को स्क्रीन पे शो करता है. And the same scenario for the print command, if you use inverted commas, that character will be shown as the same. And after that I have written s. So because of this s, what actually happened, s means it will represent here the value which is available on this variable. So that's why it is here 10. Okay, clear? यहाँ तक किसी को अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है बेटा, then you can ask me question. You can raise your hand, or you can also post me your question in the comments. Hurry up. Okay, if I run it again, then what happened? I use another number, for example, 50 and 20, that is 70. So our answer is, the sum is 70. If आपका कोई question है तो then you can ask me. Sorry. I'm gonna change it. For example, I just want that whenever program asks me these two numbers, after that I just wanted to put a line. For example, I give here a 5 and then again 5. मैं चाह ये रहा हूँ कि whenever these two things are asked by the user, after that, before this answer, I just want to put a line here. Okay, so for this we must have to see that this enter second number is coming from the line number 30, and this the sum is 10 is coming from this line number 50. तो मैं जो लाइन चाह रहा हूँ कि वो यहाँ पर आए, enter second number and the sum is 10, इन दोनों के दरमियान में. So how it is possible? I will write that line or make that line between these two lines. Enter second number and the sum is 10. Enter second number is coming from this line number 30, and this the sum is 10 is coming from this line number 50. So I will use a line number here which should be greater than 30 and less than 50. So for example, I use a 31 which is greater than 30. So on line number 30 I write here print print, and for line I use is equal to sign continuously, and then inverted commas close, press enter. Now if I press F2 to run my program, then it will again ask me a number. I have written 8 and then 9, and now when I press enter, look at here, the line is appear, right? So as it is, for example, I just wanted to put a line after this sum is 17, which means this line. So for this I will write this line after this 50 number. Okay, so this is how you can modify your program after making it first time. uh, किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन तो मेरे पास आया नहीं, बट यहाँ एक क्वेश्चन ऐसा बनता है विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट, that why I'm using this line number 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. Why not 1, 2, 3? ये बेटा एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे बनता था, बट नो वन इज आस्क्ड. The reason for this is better look at here we use this line number 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and so on. Why? Because if we want to modify this program, so we have chances to modify 10 times between two lines. For example, I want to modify something between the 20 and 30, these two lines, then between this 20 and 30 we have a chances to modify it 9 times, 21 to 29. ठीक है, मैं ये नंबर यूज कर सकता हूँ, like 21 line number 21, 22, 23 and so on till 29 between these two lines. So sometime it happen that you want to modify your program after making it the first time. So if you use 10, 20, 30, then you have this capability to make this. Otherwise, you don't have any option. If you use 10, 20, sorry 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, तो आप उसमें फिर modification बाद में नहीं कर सकते. For example, you consider this the 31. ये मैंने line यहाँ पे put की between the 30 and 50. For example, I don't use this as a 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. If I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then if we want to make something or to write something after this line number 3 and 5 and 4 is also available, तो ये लाइन नंबर जो 31 पे मैंने ये लाइन लिखी है ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं थी, मैं नहीं ऐड कर सकता था. So for this type of thing we use actually these 10, 20, 30 and so on, right? So this is very important, remember this. Now I want to modify my program little more, and that is when I press F2, look at here. For example, I've give it again two number. So when I press enter, तो होता क्या है? It write here the sum is 9. The sum of what? ठीक है, ये मैं यहाँ पे चाह रहा हूँ कि लिखा हुआ है, यानी the sum of 4 and 5 जो भी ऊपर नंबर आपने दिए, the sum of 4 and 5 is 9. इस तरह से लिखा. So what we can do? We can do here on a line number 50, the sum of 4 and 5 is S, right? Now if I press F2 and give it a number 4 and 5, then look at here, it's written that the sum, sorry, if I have written if instead of of 4 and 5. So the sum of 4 and 5 is 9. Okay. Now look at here again. If I press 2 and give it another number like 6 and 8. Now what happened? The sum of 4 and 5 is 14, which is wrong. So it means there is a problem. So what we will do, we will write our program by which it should be happen कि जी हम जो दो नंबर यहाँ देंगे वेरिएबल में, these two numbers should be placed here automatically. ठीक है, 4 और 5 तो हमने डायरेक्टली हार्ड कोडेड लिख दिया था, but we will use here a variable. So how? Look at here. After these word the sum of, then I will close the inverted commas. Then I'm writing here a first variable which is n1. Now again inverted commas, and instead of this 5 I will write n2 variable. then inverted commas is, and so on. Look at here, this is my code now. मैंने क्या किया, the sum of is between of these two inverted commas, then n1 is without inverted commas, then this and is between inverted commas, and then n2 is without inverted commas, then is again within the inverted commas, and then this s is again without inverted comma. Now if I press F2 और मैं यहाँ कोई भी नंबर देता हूँ like 7 and 8, then what happened, the sum of 7 and 8 is 15. I again run this program और मैं कोई और नंबर देता हूँ like 98 and 67, then what happened, the sum of 98 and 67 is 165. Now look at again the code, why it's happened. This is 98 and this is 67. How it's actually come up here uh, from these two places, because this 98 is stored in a n1 and this 67 is stored in a n2 variable. So I have written at these two places, these are the variables. So because of these variable, what happened, जो भी value बेटा उस variable में थी, that will actually become to this position. So this is how you can place your values as well. So this is end of today's lecture. Now if you have any question, then you can ask me through the comment box. I got here one question from Uruj Hanif. सर मुझे समझ नहीं आया 10-20 वाला concept. Okay, बेटा मैंने ये बताया था, we have used here that 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Why we use here? Because there is a 9-digit difference between this 10 to 20. ठीक है, वो 9 digit कौन से, 11, 12, 13, 14 and so on. For example, हम इन दो लाइंस के दरमियान में कोई अगर डिफरेंस चाहते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल 20 और 30 के दरमियान में हम कुछ मजीद ऐड करना चाहते हैं, तो अगर हमने 10, 20, 30 वाली जो इसकी प्लेस है वो यूज़ की है, then we have a chances or capability to change its 9 times. ठीक है, और लेकिन अगर मैं 1, 2, 3, 4 एंड सो ऑन यूज़ करता, तो उसमें क्या था कि मैं फिर अगर बीच में कुछ ऐड करना चाह रहा हूँ दो लाइन के, फॉर एग्जांपल लाइन नंबर 2 और 3 के दरमियान कुछ ऐड करना चाह रहा हूँ, तो मैं नहीं कर सकता था. Why? Because in GW Basic we cannot use like a 2.1 or 2.2 or 2.3, right? So that's why we use 10, 20, 30 these type of number. जैसे कि यहाँ मैंने किया 30 और 40 के दरमियान में मैंने 31 यूज़ किया. ये अगर मैंने यहाँ 3 और 4 यूज़ किया होता, तो मैं ये अगर लाइन बीच में ऐड करना चाह रहा हूँ, तो ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं थी मैं ऐड करता. ओके बेटा, time is very less. If you have any another question, you can also ask me. See.